Hi guys, today we're gonna find out who the tallest people on Earth are and what they eat.
I've said this about a million times, but as I'm sure you're all probably aware, I'm a pretty tall guy. Okay, let me give you some backstory. Last year, I made this video.
I travelled to the world's tallest country. I explained in the video that I'm 6'4", the average height in the UK is 5'9", so I'm taller than pretty much everyone I walk past. I then went online, searched the country which had the tallest people in the world, pretty much everywhere except the Netherlands, so I travelled there, and it was clear people were much taller. In fact, the average height there was 5'11". So I got home, posted a video. It went insanely viral, accumulating over 50 million views, which is great, but there was one small, tiny problem.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people believe that Dutch people are the tallest on Earth, but it's clearly not the case in reality. They are tall because they used to consume a lot of raw dairy up until a few decades ago. Now they have switched to pasteurized dairy. Who knows how it's gonna continue in that country.
I got the country wrong. You see, anyone on Google says that
Yeah, the thing is that South Sudan is a very new country. That's why you'll usually not find it in the results.
Netherlands is the tallest country, but as thousands of comments informed me, South Sudan actually takes the #1 spot.
Now, South Sudan is a strange place. It is the newest country in the world, gaining its independence in only 2011. Since then, the country's just gone downhill. It has a constant civil war going on. It's the poorest country in the world. The government is extremely corrupt. And also, filming there is illegal.
All of these reasons are...
He says that the government is extremely corrupt, as if some are not. That's kind of what he's implying, as if some are better.
In my opinion, why, when you search up what's the tallest country, South Sudan is nowhere to be seen, because due to its situation, there's just no data recorded in the country.
But I dug a little bit, and it's estimated that South Sudan's average height is 6'3". If that is true, it blows Netherlands out the water. So, there was only one true way to find out.
South Sudan. Here we come.
Thank you. We have stopped in Ethiopia. Next stop, Juba.
Ethiopia, the raw meat eating country, also good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to South Sudan, Juba. The local time is 2:42.
Now, my actual experience in South Sudan, it was mental. I posted a video on that if you want to go watch that separately. But in regards to how tall these people were, well, I'd never seen anything like it. They were giants.
Oh, you're a tall guy.
That night, South
Yeah, you gotta remember how tall he is, and the people there are still taller. Some of them, of course, are not, but on average.
Sudan were playing against the USA at basketball. Everyone in the city gathered to watch it, and it really put into perspective on how tall.
Look at how many people are taller than him, or at least around the same height. You would never see that anywhere on Earth.
People here were.
Hey, just look at that. That's crazy. How can so many people be taller than him when he's already tall? Oh my god.
In the first two contests. And kept Jones out of the lane. It's one of the few times he's gotten the touch. Only two touches in the game.
Yeah, there's something interesting about... actually, I will talk about that later, about what they eat and why they are tall and how the body then develops.
How tall are you? How tall are you? 6'9".
Seeing just 7-foot giants wasn't uncommon here.
Mr. 5'10". No chance to see the speed.
Now, unfortunately, South Sudan did lose, but I can confidently say South Sudan destroys the Netherlands. The average person here was about 6'3". They were all similar to me.
Okay, we are leaving the city right now. We're heading about 75 kilometers away, and we're visiting the tallest tribe in the world, the Mandari tribe.
Now, there's really not much information about this tribe. They live in the middle of nowhere. They have no technology, but apparently they're all giants.
And what you can notice are the animals, of course, the cattle.
This is probably the first time these guys have ever seen a white person before. A few hours of driving later, and we'd arrived.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Oh my God. How is it? Nice to meet you, bro. What's your name? Robin. Fucking hell. How you doing? These are tall guys. Are they all...
Yeah, the guys who greet him are just as tall or even taller. Yeah.
Massive.
Now, the Mandari tribe worship cows. In fact, their life evolves around them.
Yeah, of course, because they give them sustenance, so they sort of worship them. I don't know if they actually worship them, but I get what he means.
Wherever the cows go, they follow and set up camp. And while some of the youngers flex their muscles at me, they told me something I couldn't wrap my head around.
They are drinking only milk, no food.
They're drinking only milk?
Milk, only.
They don't eat food?
They don't eat food.
But that's not really true, because they do eat a lot of foods also, but they can go very long by only drinking milk. But the Maasai also kind of do that, right? They drink a lot of milk and mix it with blood. They also supposedly mix it with blood, by the way. They do. That's what's been recorded. They just won't say it in this video. And they also have raw meat dishes. They mostly eat cooked meat, but when you look at the raw milk and the raw meat that they eat in combination, they still eat more raw animal foods. So actually, their diet is mostly raw animal foods. Just to be very clear.
They will eat food when they go to the village.
So how long do they have without food?
1 year.
Oh, the guy looks very well built, strong, yeah. Yeah, actually, I'll explain to you what I wanted to say before. Of course, if you drink a lot of raw milk, as proven by many people, especially during puberty, but just when you're developing, maybe even slightly sometime beyond puberty, you can still grow. There's also experiences like that even in your 20s. But my point is simply that there's going to be a lot of growth hormones, especially in cow's milk, because the animals grow to be these big animals. And a lot of the cow's milk today is, of course, from these so-called Frankenstein cows, which are, of course, a different kind of breed than what we naturally have. They may have even more of these hormones to grow even bigger. But whatever the case, wherever you get the milk, there's still going to be a lot of these hormones. And this is what makes the human body also grow taller. Does it also mean wider and better developed? Not really. What I mean by that is that if you don't have the building blocks that you need when you're growing, meaning that you're growing beyond the height that you should, it's possible that you will end up more narrow. It's possible. It doesn't have to be like that. It depends on the quality of the milk and your overall diet. If you're going to be drinking a lot of raw milk during puberty, but you're also going to be eating a lot of liver, probably fine. If there's going to be any difference, then it's going to be minuscule, not really noticeable if you would compare yourself to other people who didn't drink a lot of raw milk. And then, of course, there's also the question, what is better? Being tall or developing widely and being shorter? That's up to you to decide whatever path you want to take. But as I said, really, it doesn't have to be one or the other, typically. It's just that a lot of people make the mistake of, it's not even a mistake, they don't even know, they're not conscious of what they are doing. They drink a lot of raw milk. It's not even people who know about eating raw meat. Some people just do drink raw milk. They grow tall, but milk is milk. It's not real human food. So they can grow tall, even from pasteurized milk, kind of, but you're not going to actually develop your bones the way you should, because the building blocks are not there. As I said, if you would combine raw milk or you make a raw milk liver smoothie, the combination of the two is going to make you develop tall and most likely pretty wide also.
It's okay. 1 year without food.
They don't eat food for a year.
Of course, milk is food. Otherwise, how would a baby survive? The baby is getting food by drinking milk. But I get what he means, yeah?
Yeah, for a year.
And they just drink milk?
Yeah, milk only.
What?
Milk only.
He's so shocked about it. Yeah, that wouldn't be possible probably with pasteurized milk. Yeah, they drink it straight from the cow.
So for the majority of their life, they consume only milk. I mean, milk.
It would be important for him to really say raw milk just for his slave audience, because they're just living in a different reality. You really need to point it out to people.
Is full of growth hormones. Could that be why
Obviously, come on, that's clear.
these guys are the tallest people on the planet?
Yeah, their ancestors ate the same way, drank the same milk, and they have children, and they just become taller and taller. Of course, yeah, that's how genetics work. That's how you inherit height. It's the same in the Netherlands. You had a population consuming raw milk for centuries, really even longer, most likely. Well, it used to be really Germany, whatever, it's man-made stupid borders anyway. What does it matter? Just the people who lived there for however long. And that's why their children were tall. Yeah, that's it. Height is purely food. It's nothing else. Purely food. Except, of course, if you live in a super cold climate. But as far as being in a at least okay climate goes, it's just food, of course. It's never anything else. You only inherit what your ancestors ate. That's it. So if your ancestors ate good food, a lot of meat, or raw milk, or at least on top of that, then you will also likely be tall as long as you also eat somewhat good food. And then it just depends. If it's bad, then you're going to be a bit shorter, and then your children will be even shorter, and so on. Food is completely what regulates everything, your whole body. It's just basic biology. Height, facial development, all of your bones, everything. It's all food always. Yeah, that's just a reality. I'm going to show you something else. This is an interesting chart that somebody sent me. Total calories from animal protein. South Koreans eat a lot of raw meat, raw eggs, versus mean male height. That's North and South Korea, as you can see. Yeah. Do I need to say anything more? No, come on, man. It's clear. Just live in denial if you want to, or accept reality. It's all food. This guy also made a video about South Sudan.
Until today, I always thought that the world's tallest people were in Holland and Latvia. And then I came to the country of South Sudan, and I can't even touch the top of their heads.
South Sudan, as you can see, is a land of the tall and dark. That's the first thing you're gonna see when you first come to South Sudan. And I love it. I love my height, and being here makes me love it and makes me embrace who I am and how tall I am.
So your friends and family the same height as you, the girls?
I'm actually short, believe me. But my brothers are way taller than me.
Okay, so just for reference, you filming? She's the shortest one, and look at this. Like, you're like 5 inches taller than me. I'm the tallest one in my family.
No!
Yeah. The majority of the country's 13 million people belong to the Dinka tribe, who inhabit the banks of the Nile and have some of the most stunning physical features you'll ever see. They're extremely slim and tall, almost all of them, with both men and women averaging well over 6 feet tall. I feel like I'm a...
Some of them have somewhat well-developed faces. Still, of course, because of the long history of drinking the raw milk and everything, they will still grow tall. But yeah, they do drink a lot of milk anyway, even now. Even if they live in the city, that's what I mean. The people outside of it anyway.
NBA locker room right now. My neck hurts from looking up at the sky all day long. I'm 5'7", so you're almost 2 feet taller than me.
Yeah, I'm 225 centimeters.
225 centimeters tall? What's it like being so tall?
Well, it's advantageous, especially when there's a crowd. You don't bother.
Awesome. And how old are you guys?
Yeah, okay.
20.
Yeah, I'm 19.
What is it like being so tall? I mean,
They're very happy to be
they're
tall.
happy to be tall.
Yes.
In fact, the tallest NBA player in history is a guy named Manute Bol, standing at 7 feet 7 inches. And can you guess where he's from? South Sudan. We're at a basketball game in Juba, South Sudan. They're freaking tall.
The basketball court of the rim is like 12 feet, so you have to jump.
Oh, 12 feet. Why are the people of South Sudan so unbelievably tall? What's their secret? Is it in the water? One biological theory states that in tropical climates, animals tend to have longer limbs to allow them to sweat more.
Yeah, that's all true. As I said, the climate for sure impacts it. If it's super cold, as it is with the Eskimos, where you live in minus 40, 50 degrees, then the limbs will be shorter. Yeah, that's true. Everybody knows that. That's how it is with all animals, not only humans. But without food, it's still not going to work out. Isn't Cambodia the country with the shortest people on Earth? It's for sure one of the countries with the shortest people, but still, people there live in a very hot climate, but are short just simply because of the rice that they consume for the most part. Rice, some kind of seeds, very little meat, overcooked meat. There's no dairy there basically at all nowadays because it's imported, but it's not a dairy culture. Not that you need it, but seeing as they don't even eat the raw meat anymore from the jungle times, the way they used to do it, yeah, of course, a rice seed-based diet is gonna do that to you. So it's just not that simple, unfortunately. You're not gonna grow tall just because you live in a hot climate. That would be nice, I guess, for some people.
And not overheat. Since humans also adapt to their climate, that's exactly what the Dinkas have done to evolve as the tallest human race this planet has ever.
Yeah, man, this guy, Drew, just with his ignorance. What about the food? Oh, what food? It literally builds your body, everything about your body. But no, let's just talk about the climate.
Ever seen. Interestingly enough, the Dinkas have fascinating lifestyles. They don't traditionally eat anything in the daytime, but at night, the feast begins around a fire. Smoked meat, grilled fish, and...
But that's not even true. Not even the diet is true. Well, okay, these people may be eating that there specifically.
Fresh fruit, because there's no shortage of any of that in this country. They don't eat that much beef because they consider cows more valuable than money. Bashar is telling me if you get married, you have to give 300 cows to the family of the girl. Yeah. The Dinkas are very friendly and I've never felt
No mention of the raw milk at all.
unwelcomed at any time so far. I wanted to make this video to give them the positive attention they deserve, because as you know, the Western media mostly covers the neighboring Maasai tribe of Kenya.
To me, it was already clear that your development depends on the food that you consume. I simply wanted to show you what the tallest people on Earth eat. This also applies to Dutch people, Latvians. They drank a lot of raw milk up until recently, ate raw cheeses, also some raw meat. Raw fish is still kind of common here and there outside of the city. But it's not heading into the right direction right now, that's for sure. We'll see what will happen to these populations. I think that that's clear. What most people don't talk about is that whatever you inherit is largely based on the food that your ancestors consumed, because people usually just say genetics. But what does that mean, genetics? Genetics means what you inherit. What do you inherit? The development of these biological beings. And what defines your development? The food that you eat, for the most part. Again, except if you live in some extreme climate or something else extreme happens to you, especially in these unnatural buildings that we go to where all kinds of stuff is done to us, if you understand what I'm talking about. That's not a concern for most people on Earth. Realistically, it's almost always all going to be based on the food that your ancestors consumed. That's why it's partly correct to say that it's genetics in many cases, except that, for example, when it comes to your height, yes, you inherit it because of what your ancestors ate. So you're indirectly inheriting the food that they consumed. So no matter how you want to look at it, it all always goes back to food. Thanks for watching.